able to compete in globalization era. Kadin University has academic and non-academic facilities such as library, computer center, language center, ASEAN Study Center, sports stadium, investigation gallery, mini hospital, and job placement center to make the student easier to get the job.
Mari bergabung bersama kami di Universitas Kadiri.
Buka kunci bang. Mohon dikirim ke bagian revision. Berarti ini ada pak. Pak, kunci bang.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? Our seminar will begin. Please have a nice seat at your home, office, or wherever your location right now. Thank you very much for preparing yourself to join our seminar. Honorable Director of Kadin University and the staff, Honorable Director of the Dean of Engineering Faculty of Kadin University and the staff, Honorable the all speaker and participant of this seminar, my name is Pamadia Vitasmoro, the moderator of today's seminar. I'm very pleased to see you all here and welcome to all of you in international seminar held by Engineering Faculty of Kadin University, Kediri, Indonesia. This seminar will discuss about the implementation of fundamentals of sustainable development in the new era. Ladies and gentlemen, we have three honorable speakers today. Let's greet them one by one. The first speaker is Professor Dr. Semyon Pivarsky, the Research Director of the Inter-University Laboratory of Digital Education Technologies of the Moscow City University. Good morning, Prof. Good morning. How are you doing? Thank you for joining our seminar today. And the second speaker is Maha Faudi, the architect and urban planner, the state architect, region of Casablanca, Setat, Morocco. Good morning, madam. Morning. Thank you for joining. Morning. How are you doing?
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, thank you for joining our seminar, Miss Maha. The third speaker is Mr. Sony Susanto STMT, the Engineering Faculty of Kadin University lecturer. Hi, sir.
Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Vita, Miss Vita, yeah.
How are you today?
I'm fine. How about you?
Okay, I'm very fine. Thank you for your willingness to join our seminar today. Okay, before our seminar begin, let me read the following of program for seminar today. The first is opening ceremony by listening the national anthem of Republic of Indonesia and the national anthem of Russia and national anthem from Morocco. Second, the opening speech from the Dean of Engineering Faculty of Kadin University. The third is the presentation of each speaker. And then the fourth is the question and answer session for all the honorable speaker. And the last closing and take a picture together for all participants and speakers. Okay, let's begin our program today. Let us pray our respect to the national anthem Indonesia Raya. second national anthem is from Russia. Let's pay our respect to Russian national anthem. The third national anthem is national anthem from Morocco. Let's pay our respect to Al Watan Al Malik. is the opening the speech from the Dean of Engineering Faculty of Kadiri University, Indonesia. May I invite Mr. Yosef Cahyo Sationo, SPST MM, for the opening speech. Mr. Yosef, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Vita. Honorable Professor Dr. Semyon Piasky, as Research Director of the Inter-University Laboratory of Digital Education Technologies of Moscow City University, and Madam Maha Faudi, as Architect and City Planner, Ministry of Interior of Morocco, Wilayah of Region Casablanca, Setat. Then Mr. Joko Raharjo, MP, as the Rector of Kadiri University, and the Kadiri University lecturer, student, as well as the participants of Kadiri University International Webinar. Good morning, good afternoon, and best wishes for all of us. First of all, let us give thanks to God, because with this permission today we can meet here to join the international webinar together with theme implementation fundamental of sustainable development in new era. Kadiri University have many international collaboration with many universities as from Malaysia, India, Brunei Darussalam, East Timor, Thailand, and of course Moscow and Morocco. Because Kadiri University vision and mission is being internationalized in 2026. I hope this collaboration will produce something good and useful for many people and can be prolonged into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I respect with this event. We hope that it can develop our university and also can support the Kadiri University vision, mission to be internationalized. Happy on joining this webinar. Hopefully, what we do today will benefit us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we will move to the main program, the presentation from each speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph, for your nice speech. Now we will move to the main program, the presentation from each speaker. Before the presentation begin, let me know the regulation how the presentation will be going on. The first one, during the seminar, we turn off all the participant mic feature. Participants are invited to ask a question for each speaker through the chat feature, both on the Zoom application or YouTube live streaming of our social media platform account. And then each speaker has around 20 minutes for delivering the presentation material. And our team will select up 3 questions from the participant for each speaker, depend on the time left of the session. And I will read the question for the speaker after the speaker present the material. Okay, now first I'd like to give the time for our first speaker, Professor Dr. Semyon Piasky, present his material about 20 minutes. But before that, allow me to briefly introduce to you the profile of our speaker. Professor Semyon Piasky is the Professor, Doctor of Technical Science of the Citizen of Russia.
Well, I want to show my presentation myself.
Okay, yeah. Before that, I will introduce you first, sir. I will introduce to the audience. Give me time for introduce yourself to the audience. And then he also the research director.
I can't drive the slides.
Okay, sir. I will introduce you first, sir. I introduce you. After that, I give you time for delivering your presentation. Allow me to introduce you to the audience first. Okay?
Да. Алло.
Okay. And then he has work
Уже
experience.
представили, и я не могу с ними общаться. А вы в аудитории?
Head of the
I'm waiting
department.
for my translator. I'm waiting for my translator.
Okay, yeah. Wait for a minute. I will introduce you to the audience. Okay, sir. Okay. He also the head of department of applied mathematics
He's waiting for
and computer engineering. Also the dean of faculty of information system and technologies of Samara State University. And also he has many public publications. You can say at the slide. And then okay, that's all the introduction from the moderator. Now the time for Professor Dr. Semyon
I'm ready
P.
if my
Farfet
translator
to present
is
the
here.
material. Okay, the time is yours, sir.
Can I start?
Okay, yeah.
Well, уважаемые коллеги, я рад выступить на столь компетентной встрече по вопросам, связанным с устойчивым развитием человечества в новую эру. Все мы заинтересованы в том, чтобы человечество развивалось устойчиво, но для этого необходимо, чтобы люди принимали умные решения. I wait for translation. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir, I hear you.
Well, and my translator is here.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes. Okay, please, the interpreter.
Oh.
You can have.
I will continue. Для того, чтобы решения были умными, необходимо не только, чтобы умные люди их принимали, но чтобы люди были уверены в том, что эти решения умны. Причем не только те, кто принимает эти решения, но и те, кто зависит от их последствий. Для этого необходимо, чтобы все знали, на основе каких технологий эти решения принимаются. Эти технологии в простом варианте или в более сложном, желательно в варианте, который доступен пониманию широких кругов населения, были основаны на многоаспектном прогнозировании последствий принимаемых решений и на комплексной оценке этих последствий для того, чтобы можно было соединить все эти аспекты в единое понимание ценности этих решений, в частности для устойчивого развития человечества. Этому и посвящено мое выступление. Одной из таких технологий, в разработке которой я активно участвую и которую принимаю в связи, так сказать, с инженерной моей ипостасью в области аэрокосмических исследований, что показано в части слайда.
Okay, I will give a brief overview of the first initial slides, and I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Professor Semyon Abramovich Zbijewski, and I have engineering background, and my background is in the aerospace engineering. My presentation will be dedicated to sustainable development in the new era. We will be speaking about generation and multi-aspect forecasting of consequences of different solutions. We will speak about why these solutions are considered to be smart, because solutions are smart, because people are smart, because people are sure that the solutions are smart, people make smart decisions, and humankind is developing in a sustainable manner.
В верхней части слайда показан ряд моих публикаций по применению этих технологий в различных технических областях.
In the top part of the slide, you can see a summary of my publications on this topic in various technical areas.
Однако до сегодняшней встречи, учитывая, что контингент представляет участники вузов и их преподавателей, я выбрал гуманитарную сферу.
However, considering that the majority of my audience today is in the sphere of humanities, I decided to focus on the humanities sphere as well.
Эта сфера, связанная с важнейшей составляющей и предпосылкой устойчивого развития, а именно с выявлением, развитием и стимулированием к активной деятельности творчески одаренной молодежи, талантливой молодежи. Соответствующие публикации показаны в нижней части слайда.
And in the bottom part of the slide, in red, you can see some publications which are dedicated to one of the most important components of and one of the most important prerequisites for sustainable development, i.e., the identification, development, and further learning of gifted young people.
Творческая молодежь наиболее подготовлена к тому, чтобы воспринять новые цифровые технологии, которые сейчас завоевывают мир. И в то же время она достаточно активна для того, чтобы, демонстрируя свои творческие способности, использовать и распространять эти технологии принятия решений для достижения более высоких, незаурядных результатов.
Young people are most prepared to conceptualize and to use the new technologies, and they are most prepared to be immersed in the digital world, and they are most prospective in spreading the technology.
Поясню содержание той технологии, которую я хочу предложить вниманию собравшихся на простейшем примере. В России и во многих других странах для зачисления на получение высшего образования в вузе за государственный счет или при государственной поддержке используются результаты тестов по нескольким наиболее значимым предметам. В основном это математика, физика, у нас в России это русский язык. Результаты этих тестов суммируются или берется их среднее значение, и в зависимости от этой комплексной оценки трех аспектов, влияющих на эффективность решения, определяется, кто попадет в университет, кому нужно будет искать иные пути получения высшего образования.
So the example I'm using here is the admission to university. And in Russia, as is the case in many other countries, we have final school exams in the form of grading. And that usually is taken in such subjects as mathematics, physics, and the Russian language. The scores for these examinations are summed up, and then they are averaged. Thereupon, the students will choose whether or not they have the possibility of entering a university, or they will have to find a different way of continuing their education.
Уверены ли мы в том, что это решение принято честно, без посторонних побуждений? Ответ – да, потому что здесь некуда вносить посторонние побуждения. Здесь простая математическая операция суммирования, ну или деление к тому же еще и на 3. Но является ли это решение умным? Ответ – нет.
Can we be sure that this solution is completely unbiased? Yes, we can, because we have no possibility of entering any other excitating factors to the equation, because what we basically see here is the summing up of 3 values and then they are divided by 3. But can we say that this is a smart solution? And the answer is no.
Нет, потому что мы явно видим, что Иван наиболее годится и рожден для того, чтобы получить образование на физическом факультете. Катя же на гуманитарном, но ни в коем случае не на физическом. Тем более тем не менее, при решении вопроса о зачислении на физический факультет будет принята именно Катя.
This is not a smart solution because, let's see, we see in Ivan's scores that he is best apt to study in the faculty of physics, and this is shown by his scores in mathematics and physics. But if we look at the result of the student Katya, we will see that it will be she who will be admitted to the faculty of physics.
Конечно, мы понимаем, было бы значительно лучше, если бы мы могли учесть предпочтительность различных аспектов, различных последствий этого решения на их комплексную эффективность. Но прежде всего, естественно, отнести их к различным группам важности. Эти группы важности можно пронумеровать. 1, 2, 3, так как это для физического факультета соответственно.
So what we need to do is to take into account the importance of various factors in the selection of the faculty, and we can group them to the groups of criteria importance and itemize them thus.
Ну, может быть тогда принять среднее значение этих чисел, умноженные на номера групп. Конечно, нет, потому что мы понимаем, что эти номера на самом деле отнюдь не являются числами. Это не значит, что математика в третьей группе ровно в 1,5 раза важнее, чем физика, имеющая вторую группу важности. Каким же образом пересчитать эти номера в числовые оценки, которые реально, объективно отражали бы тот приоритет, который мы предполагаем и отдаем математике при поступлении на физический факультет?
So how does one actually recalculate these scores, and how does one actually apply them to making the decision as to where a person would be admitted? It is quite natural that we cannot just multiply the mean average scores by the criteria importance group number, because that number does not represent a figure. So what we will have to do is to conceptualize the importance of various exams to be taken when getting admitted to the university.
Вот она, основная причина многих сомнений, многих неэффективных решений, многих споров и обид, которые возникают часто в решениях большого масштаба, оказывающих влияние на судьбы отдельных категорий населения, стран и человечества в целом. Все дело в том, что точнейшие количественные модели, которые оценивают различные аспекты эффективности, требуют перевода в столь же обоснованную и точную методику, позволяющую комплексно оценить их эффективность. Как это делается в настоящее время, я расскажу после перевода этого фрагмента. Пожалуйста.
This is exactly the reason why such decisions cause much disturbance when they are applied to the actual fates of people, be it on the level of a single individual or on the level of the entire humankind. We need to translate the specific facts and figures into clear and conceptualized methodologies.
Ну, обычной методикой является создание экспертных групп, в которых эксперты высказывают различные взгляды, дают свои значения коэффициента важности различных аспектов, а потом высчитывается среднее значение этих коэффициентов. Пожалуйста.
The common approach is to gather expert groups who would exchange experience and who would discuss in what way the value of each importance factor will be recalculated to specific facts and figures.
Такая методика по многим причинам субъективна, не говоря уже о том, что она сложна и трудоемка.
And this methodology is in many ways subjective, and it is highly labor-intensive.
Имеется целый ряд теорий, которые позволяют более активно оценивать комплексную эффективность решений. Одна из наиболее распространенных предложена в середине прошлого века американскими исследователями Томасом Саади. Она заключается в том, чтобы попарно сравнить с собой различные аспекты эффективности решения, выставить оценки, количественные оценки, причем по четкой шкале 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Затем произвести над ними некоторые математические операции и получить искомые весовые коэффициенты.
Even though there are many theories which can be applied to this task, one of the most tangible theories was proposed in the middle of the 20th century by an American scientist, Thomas Saaty. His theory is the analytical hierarchy process, whereby we compare pairs of criteria, rank them along a specific scale, and then perform some mathematical actions on them.
На примере, когда девушка выбирает из нескольких своих друзей, кого пригласить с собой в туристический поход, она должна вначале сравнить по парам между собой сравнительную значимость этих коэффициентов, и тогда она получит критерии, на основе которых уже сможет оценить комплексную эффективность решения.
Let's take an example of a girl deciding whom of her friends she wants to invite to a hiking trip. She will compare pairs of different criteria and match them against one another, and then come up with a final value.
Однако, если решения принимаются более серьезные, а не девочкой, для которой риск чрезвычайно невелик, то стоит целый ряд вопросов, которые ставят под сомнение уверенность в том, что принятое решение будет правильным. Почему именно вот эти номера? Почему именно вот такие математические операции? И потом, вы представляете себе, если рассматривается 10 аспектов эффективности рассматриваемых решений, то сколько сравнительных пар вот таких вот расплывчатых сравнений одного аспекта с другим нужно провести для того, чтобы дальше перейти к чистой математике. Пожалуйста.
However, that entails a problem, and the problem lies in the complexity of the task. Suppose we take something more complicated than a girl deciding who she wants to invite to a party or to a hiking trip. Suppose we have a dozen of aspects to be compared pair by pair, and there arise a number of questions. Why these criteria? Why such order? And why exactly these mathematical actions to be taken?
Между тем, в методе, о котором я говорю, достаточно девочке оценить эффективность каждого решения по всем аспектам, и она автоматически, причем довольно несложно, получит интересующие ее коэффициенты эффективности.
However, in this example, the calculation of efficiency is very simple indeed.
На чем основан тот метод, о котором я рассказываю? На том, что если мы не знаем значение весовых коэффициентов, сопоставляющих между собой ценность различных последствий, то нам нужно посмотреть на математически. Эти значения – это ведь какая-то точка в пространстве их возможных значений. В этой точке известно, что сумма значений должна быть равна единице, потому что мы общую эффективность как бы делим между отдельными аспектами, во-первых. А во-вторых, что один аспект, тот, который мы указали, важнее другого, значит, его коэффициент просто важнее. Пожалуйста.
Pardon me, sir. Your time 5 minutes more.
Да, я знаю.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. In the equation that we are using, we do not know the values of the weighted factors, but what we do know is that the value represents a point on the map, and that the sum of the values must be equal to 1. And another thing that we have to consider is that one aspect would be more important than another, and that has to be considered.
Таким образом, всевозможные допустимые разумные значения весовых коэффициентов, известные нам, являются точкой этого вот отрезка. И, естественно, принять за то значение, которое является наиболее обоснованным, среднее значение этих точек, то есть центр масс. Это если у нас два аспекта. Если три аспекта, речь будет идти о трехмерном пространстве и соответствующем подпространстве, ограниченном нашими условиями. Это может быть и речь о пятимерном, о десятимерном, и в пространстве любой конечной размерности Дальше в ход вступает уже математика, которая дает возможность найти координаты центра масс соответствующей области в многомерном пространстве чисто математическим путем. Пожалуйста.
The number of aspects that we are considering will be determining the number of dimensions in which our mathematical actions will be considered. In the first example, we had only 2 aspects, therefore we are on a 2-dimensional scale, but it can be 3, 4, 5, and even 10-dimensional equations.
На этой основе есть возможность, помимо алгоритмов и соответствующих программ, просто составить таблицы, в которых перечисляют возможные комбинации групп важности критериев и универсальные коэффициенты важности, количественно представляющие сравнительную важность.
We therefore are able to create matrices in which we will be grouping the criteria by their importance, and we will be able to calculate the universal values of criteria importance.
Сейчас я просто продемонстрирую дальнейшие слайды, которые показывают, каким образом вот эта простейшая операция меняется работы с одаренной молодежью, которая реализована в России, в Самарской области и охватывает молодых исследователей от старших классов школы до первых лет трудовой деятельности после окончания университета.
Allow me to briefly demonstrate to you some of the slides which show in what way we are working with gifted children in the Samar region, Russian Federation.
Здесь показано, осталось 2 минуты у меня. Здесь показано...
2 more minutes for the time.
Да, здесь показаны многочисленные точки, в которых используются эти таблицы для того, чтобы дать рекомендации в отношении различных сторон развития этих молодых исследователей. При обсуждении вопросов я на них буду отвечать. Спасибо за внимание.
And indeed, this can be done in the most various aspects of working with gifted young people. And I would like to say that there is a certain methodology and a certain framework that is underlying this work with gifted young people. And I will be glad to answer your questions and would like to thank you for your kind attention.
Okay, thank you for nice presentation, Mr. Samyang. Okay, still no question for the first session. Okay, we continue our second presenter. Dear Miss Madam Mahamodi, the time is yours. But before that, I will introduce her. Okay, I will give me time, 5 minutes to read your... Okay, Madam Mahamodi is the architect and urban planner from State Architect Region of Casablanca, Setat. And then her work experience, architect and city planner, Ministry of Interior of Morocco Wilayah of the region of Casablanca, Setat, and General Secretary of the Regional Affairs, architecturally passionate. And then Rabat Junior Architect Tariq Lakmiri, Architect Retail Park, Carrefour, Tamara Project, Rabat and the McDonald's site and DI projects. Also the Casablanca interior designer, graphic designer, Prime House Architect Adil Taki, Architect Apartment and Marina Casablanca. And then Dengir and Kenitra, Rabat Site Architect ONCF, Moroccan National Railway Office, High Speed Railway Land Station. And then next, her academic qualification, Bachelor degree of Mathematical Science with honors from High School of Excellency in Salem, Morocco. In 2014, bachelor degree in 2016, and then master degree in architecture in 2019, and also diploma of architect from the National School of Architecture in Rabat, Morocco, with the highest prize or cum laude. And then voluntary experience during 2015 until 2021, the volunteer tour guide during the Architectural Heritage Days in Casablanca organized by the Association of Casa Memoire in order to raise the awareness on the richness and cultural diversity of the city. Organization, permanent member of the Association of Casa Memoire from 2015 to up to now, member of the organizing committee of the annual festival Architectural Heritage Days in Casablanca 2017, 2018, and 2019. Active member of the Association of Rabat and Sel Memoria from 2018 to now up to now, and the head of organizing committee of the annual festival Architectural Heritage Days in Sel 2019. Also the volunteer of tour guide in Casablanca and Sel, the member of Association Al Mansour for Orphan sponsorship from 2015 to 2016. Okay, that's all about this Madam Mahafodi. Now the time for Mahafodi to deliver the presentation. The time is yours.
Hello everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Mrs. Vida, for introducing me. I have to say that all the work experiences were workshop what I was studying, and now I'm working on as a state architect in the region of Casablanca State. First of all, I would like to start by thanking the organizers that didn't spare any effort to make this webinar succeed. Thanks for inviting me to be among us the panel. I'm very excited to be part of this webinar, and I hope it can increase our awareness about sustainable development. All the information I will present, you can find it on the internet, but feel free to email me later if you have any other questions. So my presentation will be about Morocco's good policies to implement sustainable development. It can be divided into 3 parts. The first one is an introduction to the goals of sustainable development. The second answers the question, how can architects and civil engineers implement sustainable development? And the last one is about Moroccan strategy to implement sustainable development. So let's start with the first part. As we all know, sustainable development is a development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainability can also be described by the triple bottom line: people, planet, and profits. And now let's talk about the 17 goals of sustainable development. Also known as the 17 global goals, they were adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. First and most important, these goals apply to every nation and every sector: cities, businesses, schools, organizations, or are challenged to act. This is called universality. Second, it's recognized that the goals are all interconnected in a system. We cannot aim to achieve just one goal. We must achieve them all. This is called integration. And finally, it's widely recognized that achieving these goals involves making very big fundamental changes in how we live on Earth. This is called transformation. The questions now are, how can sustainable development goals be achieved, and how can we implement sustainable development? In September 2015, the states members of United Nations adopted the 2030 Agenda, which is a roadmap for countries to move towards sustainable development, putting people at the center in accordance with the 17 goals. Since I'm an architect and there is a lot of civil engineer between us, I will present to you some elements related to the integration of architectural design under the concept of sustainable development in order to answer the question, how can architects and civil engineers implement sustainable development? In the field of architecture, sustainable development is also known as a sustainable design, green architecture, eco-design, and natural architecture. Builders, architects, designers, civil engineers, community planners, and real estate developers strive to create building and communities promote sustainable development by, first of all, minimize greenhouse gases, reduce global warming, and preserve environmental resources. Second, use renewable sources for water and renewable energy sources such as solar and wind. And third, use local building materials in order to limit the pollution effects of transportation. The first step in this design trend was passive, which means low energy building. The next step was eco-friendly building, friendly not only for people but also for the environment. Today, we are talking about almost zero energy building, autonomous building. These are numerous examples of such building. I will present to you an example later. Zero energy buildings combine energy efficiency and renewable energy generation, consume only as much energy as can be produced on site through renewable resources over a specified time period. Federal government agencies are beginning to move towards zero energy building targets in order to implement sustainability in the built environment. And now let's move to the main object, which is Morocco's good policies for implementing sustainable development. I think you already know Morocco. It's a country situated in North Africa, just south of Europe. The capital of Morocco is Rabat, and the largest city in Morocco is Casablanca, where I work. Islam is Morocco's official religion, and Morocco is in adventurous locations, North Africa, just miles away from Europe, and have both Atlantic and Mediterranean coastline. In fact, Spain is only 8.6 miles, 40 kilometers away from the Moroccan border. And now let's talk about the Moroccan National Sustainable Development Strategy. Morocco emerged during the last decade as one of the leading countries in the field of sustainable development and ecological transition. The Moroccan government has underlined the progress made toward achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, a roadmap set by the international community for building a better and more sustainable future for all by 2030. This roadmap is called National Sustainable Development Strategy. So the National Sustainable Development Strategy, NSDS, is a policy framework adopted by the Moroccan government in June 2017. 7 major stakes have been identified in that national strategy, such as governance, green economy, biodiversity, climate change, sensitive areas, human development, culture. First of all, consolidate the governance of sustainable development. Second, succeed in the transition towards the green economy. Third, improve the management and development of natural resources. Four, accelerate the implementation of the national climate change policy. 5, give particular attention to sensitive areas. 6, promote human development and reduce social and territorial inequality. And last, promote a culture of sustainable development. In accordance with its international commitment and the relevant conventions, Morocco has laid the foundations for achieving sustainable development in the country through various aspects. I will present to you here 3 of the aspects. First, environment. Morocco has adopted the National Charter for the Environment and Sustainable Development. Morocco has also implemented the strategy for upgrading the environment. Second, human. Morocco has created the National Initiative of Human Development. And last, energy. Morocco has adopted renewable energy targets by 2030 and has also created Morocco's green energy plans. And now I will present to you four projects that illustrate how Morocco implements sustainable development. The first project is converting mosques into green buildings. The project's concept is pretty simple: to replace lighting system with low power and lamps that can last longer, as well as to put in place power system for clean energy and hot water, such as efficient LED lighting, photovoltaic electricity, and solar water heating. These are interventions that will greatly reduce the electricity cost by as much as 40%. Mosques can become the great model of sustainable architecture, as these are places where many communities gather. The project's goal is to use mosques as a starting point to raise awareness on clean energy and kickstart the diffusion of renewable among the public. The second project I will present to you is hosting the COP22, which is the United Nations Climate Change Conference with 50,000 participants. It took place in Marrakesh, one of the biggest cities in Morocco, in the south of Morocco, and it was a cup of actions and solutions, taking the first step towards implementing the Sustainable Development Goals. The holding of the COP22, or the 22 Conference of the Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change in the Moroccan city of Marrakesh, constitutes another proof of Morocco's adherence to sustainable development and ecological transition as a part of its strategic vision and leading role in the continent. And now let's move to another example related to implementing sustainable development in urban and architectural design, which is Zenata Eco City, the first African city to be awarded the Eco City label, a certification obtained by the UN. It's located in Casablanca and covers 20,000 hectares with 5 kilometers of coastlines opening into the Atlantic Ocean. Responding to climate and demographic challenges, the Zenata Eco City is intended mainly for middle class, victims of housing shortage or poor housing in the slums of Casablanca. It also created 100,000 jobs, particularly thanks to its high valuable activity zone, which contains commercial, industrial, logistic zones, in the integrated health center and international university campus. EcoCity Zenata is a key urban planning and sustainable metabolism project because it promotes business development and residency while maintaining a low level of carbon emissions compared to conventional cities. The proposed plan includes three main concepts. The first one is the territorial city. The first concept refers to a mixed development plan that addresses territorial mobility networks within the city. The second is about Ventiled City, which integrates environmental and climatological determinants in the city plans. And finally, the Lived City, which is directly try to minimize the use of the car. The last project I will present to you is called Noor, which means light, which is the power station, the biggest solar plant in the world. It's located in Ouarzazate, a city in the south of Morocco, and it provides electricity for over 1 million people with a capacity of 580 megawatts. To conclude, I will present to you important ingredients in my point of view to implement for a successful implementation of sustainable development goals in the new era. First, to ensure that we take ownership of development goals and align them with national priorities. Second, to establish the monitoring evaluation institutional framework, which take us to a third challenge of improving the quality and the quantity of data. And finally, to not forget the challenge of financing, as the sustainable development goals must be given a strong financial base and to ensure that they are consistent with the budget constraints and complementary to sectoral strategies. This concludes my presentation. Feel free to ask any questions, and thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you for your nice presenting, Madam Maha. And we look at the chat if there is a question. Hey, the audience, do you have any question for the presenting of Mrs. Maha? So sorry, in Indonesia we have a big earthquake during this webinar, so we still a little bit afraid today.
It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. No question for first session. Maybe we can continue for the third speaker, and then Mr. Sony Susanto. Before that, I will try to uh, introduce him. Okay, wait, give me 5 minutes. Okay, Mr. Sony Susanto SPMT is the civil engineering lecturer from Kadin University, Indonesia. His formal education, he graduated from Junior High School of SLTPN for Kota Madiun, Indonesia, and then Senior High School SMAN 1 Kota Madiun, Indonesia, and then get the bachelor degree of Civil Engineering Institut Teknologi Nasional Malang, and then Master of Civil Engineering Institut Teknologi 10 November Surabaya, and now he got engineering profession from Muhammad University Malang, still ongoing. And that he has organization experience such as the Civil Engineering Student Association ITN Malang, and also the member of Institution of Engineer Indonesia or PII. And next slide. He also has training and course. The first one is certificate AutoCAD 2000 course and set pro in NEC, and then certificate Primavera project planner, and then training ISO 9001 and 2000, and then training of safety rescue in PT Holcim Indonesia, training as hazard office of PT Benefika Jakarta, training of operator and K3 Volker Indonesia Ministry of Manpower, also many kind of training. Next. His work experience during 2007 and 2008, supervisor of Senipa Ferry Civil Work and Maintenance Project Total Senipa Balikpapan Kaltim Indonesia, 2008 Site Engineering of Tatun Ferry Civil Work and Maintenance Project Total ANP CPU Tambora Samarinda Kaltim Indonesia, and also many kind of work experience, and now he is the lecturer of engineering department of Kadiri University. That's all the curriculum vitae, a short curriculum vitae from Mr. Sony Susanto, and now the time for him to deliver the presentation. Here, Mr. Sony Susanto, the time is yours.
Yeah, thank Ms. Vita, and good afternoon, Mr. Semyon Yaski and Konstantin Kalinin. And then thank you very much about the presenter from Maha Fahdi. Okay, my presentation like same with you about the fundamental sustainable development. Okay, I will do share screen my presentation. Okay, my title of my presentation is the concept of sustainable development in the new era. The sustainable SDGs were adopted sustainable development goals, while MDGs focused on improving well-being in the developing world. The 17 SDGs address all countries and aim at reconciling economic, social, and environment. We adopt social ecology perspective and critically reflect on SDGs potential for monitoring, supporting, bringing about the transformation toward sustainability. I will to share my video about the introduction sustainable development. And then about the history of sustainable development, like Ms. Mahavati has presented from the 1992, the El Summit Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, more than 178 adopt the Agenda 21, a comprehensive plan of action for sustainable development to improve life and protect environment. And then 2000, 2002 until 2005, there is an agreement about the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development with the 17 SDGs its core at the UN Sustainable Development Summit in September 2005. And now, the annual high-level political forum on sustainable development serves as the central UN platform for the follow and review of the SDGs implementation of the 2030 Agenda. Okay, and then how can sustainable development be like to the construction industry? And my presentation will contain here theoretical 50 and implementation 50%. And the background of the sustainable construction industry in the field, the construction industry is one of the last contribute to energy consumption and is the world solid waste disposal problem. And then workers' activity related to construction project had been natural resources will decrease. This encourage construction practice going to develop to make efficient and appropriate use the natural resources. And then about the sustainable issue, the concept of sustainable, there is 3 pillars, like ecological, social, and economic. And 2 of biggest challenges have been defined in the previous literature are lack of demand and interest from a client and lack of knowledge of green building. Several challenges like increased cost compared to conventional, and then lack of communication and willingness between project team members and lack of client interest. And then implementation may also cause negative safety effect related to technology, implementation, and product. Okay, there is 3, the concept of implementation sustainable. Definition about the sustainability is defined as the use of solution, tool, and material to reduce the long-term risk associated with the reducing resource, energy, product reliability, and pollution waste management, enabling further development. Number one pillar of concept implementation sustainable, 1, sustainable construction project. Number 2, green building. Number 3, green construction. There is different like green building, green construction. There is different definition. So we can join about learn together. Sustainable construction. According to Alinesari Sujokusumo 2009, high performance building, green building, and sustainable construction are often interchangeable, and because of this, confused between the term of course. And then using internet building design to achieve much better energy, economic, and environmental performance than standard practice. This requires full collaboration between design specialties from the start of the project, thus setting an integrated design. Finally, sustainable construction include green building and high performance building at the level of the company goals towards sustainability. So there is a definition with high performance building and green building and sustainable construction. And then there is 7 principles in sustainable construction. Number 1, reduce consumption of raw material, reduce and reuse. And the number 3 of the easily recycled raw material. Number 4, focus on quality. And number 5, protection of nature. Number 6, reducing of danger toxic. Number 7, application life economy. How about the definition green building? Green building, commercial building high performance using entire building designed to achieve much better economic and environmental performance than standard practice. This requires full cooperation between design, specialty from the start of project, thus creating an integrated design. So the practice about the construction industry, we can do name green building. We can do name a green building. There is a 6 element about the green building from Abdul Qasi 2012 from the journal. Yeah. Number 1, land, 30% of total land for to catchment area. Number 2, for local material. Number 3, and energy surrounding environment. Number 4, reducing and manage water. Number 5, no pollution air. And number 6, waste and environmental management. And how about the categories and environmental friendly building from Ministry on Environment Regulation number 8 2010. Number 1, using environmental friendly building material. Number 2, there is facilities infrastructure for the conservation of the water resource in building. There are facilities infrastructure for energy conservation. Number 4, use non-ozone depleting substance in building. Number 5, there are facilities main infrastructure for domestic waste, water management in the building. Number 6, there is waste sorting facility. Number 7, taking into account the health aspect of building component. Number 8, there are facilities for sustainable site management. Number 9, there are facilities infrastructure to anticipate disaster. And then how about the definition green construction? Green construction from according to United States Environmental Protection Agency, green construction is the practice constructing structure and using process that take into account environmental condition and resource efficiency through building life cycle from site to design, construction, operation, maintenance, renovation, and deconstruction. This practice extends complement classic building design with attention to aspect economy, utility, durability, comfort. Meanwhile, the product can construction are green building. And then green construction from the IPN 2016 from Australia. Green construction development itself is development aimed to provide better quality of life for all people today and for generation to come, covering 3 important themes: social, economic, and environmental. There is aspect 6 about the green construction, like labor conservation, provide safe place to work is possible, like using local labor. And number 2, material cycle and storage material. They use material within radius 1,000 km. About the set layout, number 3, reduce your soil disturbance during construction process to preserve environmental condition around the project. And then number 4, construction management. And number 5, how about the providing healthy work environment. And the number 6, construction appointment, selection, operation, and vice to keep quality. How about the implementation sustainable project in the new area? In Indonesia, except the juridical formal, the government has obligated the company and corporate in the PT, limited liability company, to make a report of liability in accordance with the number 1, law number 40, 2007, chapter 4, second part of chapter 66, paragraph 2B and 2C, article 74, paragraph 1 and 2, and then from the public panel LK also is a family regulation in the Bapepam regulation number XK6. And with the existence of these rules indicating the seriousness of the artisan government to social, environmental, and responsibility in passenger work. Sustainability can be double competitive event type. And the first basic only to be the all paradigm and the form single report with the financial and always to focus three bottom line like social, economy, and environment. This example in the global sustainable reporting like housing and the name right now is Semen Indonesia and PT Bakery Sumatra Plantation and from PT Pertamina IP and Medco Energy and many company always to keep report sustainable reporting. How about Indonesia? Indonesia from the 66 until 2015 from Global Reporting Initiative as February 2000 there are as many 85 companies have published sustainable report, and then there is increase 1 year to years. And how about the improvement sustainable development from Europe? There is improve from the 2010 until the 2019 there is increase. So sustainable development in the world and always to keep sustainable activity. There is example Wikabeton. Wikabeton commit to running sustainable business. We apply to business process three bottom line. Along with the improve performance quality, we also improve quality of this reporting. Like nickel slag from the sustainable material, they use nickel slag. In the 2018, the Karawang plant Wikabeton to improve product quality by using nickel slag as a concrete material. So nickel slag is one the tip ground granular place for nickel slag to serve as cementitious material in the concrete mixture. And how about the Wikabeton to keep a water source preservation? As a Wikabeton, about the clean water preservation, the company carried sand mining activity and location with the sedimentation river, such as Kalimantan and Sulawesi. Sedimentation has some negative impact, including the death of river organism, disruption and ecosystem, and potential flood disaster because river water doesn't fulfill the waterway to sea is blocked by sedimentation. How about the social? Wikabeton, there is method and frequency approach, and there is a program GSR. And how about the stakeholder obtain benefit from GS program carry out, obtaining job opportunity from the local area, and then company respond and follow, being consistent in conduct corporate social and environmental responsibility activity and career. There is economic performance. There is profit from the year 42%, and the revenue increase 29%, and then there is production productivity precast concrete until 91%. And then how about the environment? There is energy for consumption decline, so and the gas consumption can be declined, and then the minor work accident decline. How about the sustainable report solusi Bank Indonesia? There is a pillar like solusi per material like spec grid, two grid, upper grid, and etc. And then about the iklim, greenhouse gas emission energy management, and air pollutant emission management, and they focus about the water and nature, about the manage the good water management, and always to keep biodiversity and ecosystem management, and then economy circular, like material recycle and circular economy. And how about the people and community? We always local community engagement and management is of the community. There is a good management of human rights, like etc. There is example about the product from Solusi Bank Indonesia, like to create to new fast draining concrete pavement solution of rapid direct storm water of street, parking surface driveways and walkways, and cutting edge development to create also minimize the cost and long-term maintenance for local authority and development of stormwater management. And the minimic in order to serve also individual from home owners and waste considering road condition in Indonesia that can be challenging for bigger vehicle to enter. So there is a video to create, yeah. You can to enjoy.
Okay. Is there any voice from Mr. Sonny's video? Nggak usah ya? Okay, we skip the video, Mas Sonny. Okay.
Okay, we'll continue about the I will to continue about the presentation, the sustainable material, like green building material include the sustainable and renewable material used from construction. Number one is wood. Wood can be recycled by use wood dust and softwood can be used flooring, sliding, ceiling, and subfloor. And then bamboo. Bamboo is used to create framework and supporting wall and flooring, and can be used like building. And then number four, cork is natural material made from the bark of tree. It is like this. And how about the steel? Steel is highly durable green material, which is recyclable. Number five is natural clay. Natural clay is natural resource which is available abundant. And then about the painting non-VOC paint do not emit any volatile organic compound which are harmful. And number seven is brick, like this. If will contaminated with the soil, brick will be can be fertile like soil. How about cellulose? Cellulose is used insulating material, and there is a natural fiber and the natural stone. Natural stone is highly durable and available at the bench. How about the precast concrete? Precast concrete while used construction of the building and infrastructure project. I will to give example. This picture from the green building, the future of construction. There is like to keep preserve environment like this, and capture sunlight from the Australia. Yeah, there is a process ongoing building. Capture sunlight, store in the battery, and store as light, energy, and electricity like this. Capture the keep in the battery and store its light energy, and then in the night can be used become the light. Okay, the conclusion number one is sustainable development is defined as the use of solution, tool, and material to reduce the long-term risk associated with the reducing resource, energy consumption, product liability, pollution, and waste management enable future development. Number two, 17 global goals policy avoidance are expected to be achieved by 2030. This goal and target cover the dimension of sustainable development, namely environmental, social, and economic. Number three, social and environmental achievement are not less important than economic. It could be that environment with disaster, with the social become more expensive than the economy. So these three things become of important. Okay. My presentation is the last. In the next, Ms. Vita, can we continue?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sony Susanto, as a very nice presentation. And then now the time for delivering the session of question and answer session. I will read some question from the audience. The first question is from Johan Alfian Pradana to Professor Mr. Semyon. The question is, what is the role of mathematics for industrial? What is the role of mathematics perspective for industrial engineering? Hello, Mr. Samyang, do you hear my voice?
Could we have the question once again, please, if possible?
Okay. What is the role of perspective mathematics for industrial engineering?
Семен Аврамович. Да, Семен Аврамович, вопрос. Вопрос звучит следующим образом. Как вы видите, какой вы видите роль высшей математики в индустриальной инженерии для устойчивого развития? У вас выключен звук.
Отвечаю. Устойчивое развитие связано с выбором наиболее эффективного варианта из ряда проектов для того, чтобы его реализовать. Скажем, проект самолета, дамбы, здания, сооружения, выбора плана лучшего из предложенных мероприятий, выбора поставщика, выбора материала заключается в том, чтобы рассмотреть ряд вариантов и из них выбрать самый удачный. Но каждый вариант оценивается не одним. Да, пожалуйста, Константин, переведите.
In replying to that question, I would like to say that sustainable development depends on the selection of the most efficient option among the many possible options, and that can be applied to designing a building, to designing an aircraft, to selecting suppliers or selecting the materials. We choose the most suitable option among a variety of available options.
Более того, допустим, нужно выбрать лучший материал из нескольких предложенных, уже существующих. Но сейчас есть и новые направления, которые связаны с тем, чтобы оптимально проектировать материалы. То есть в данном случае неизвестны качества материала уже из существующего, но используется математическая модель, которая ряд вариантов нагенерирует.
And if we take exactly this task of selecting the most suitable material from a range of available materials, we can come across the following situation when we are not selecting an available material, but when we are designing a material with some predefined properties. And in this case, the mathematical modeling can be implemented to exactly design the material with the properties that we need for a very specific purpose.
Вот здесь первое направление использования математики. Это связано с тем, что используются общие закономерности материаловедения, теории, а если это речь идет об авиации, то положение гидродинамики, в результате чего конкретные составы материалов и конкретная конструкция самолетов генерируется математическим путем в очень большом количестве. Это могут быть вариантов десятки, а могут быть и сотни. Компьютеры и математика это позволяют. Вот это первое направление применения математики. Но есть еще одно второе, более тесно связанное с темой сегодняшней встречи. Пожалуйста.
So the first area in which the perspective mathematics can be applied is as follows. We analyze the general regularities in various industries of industrial engineering, such as material study or hydrodynamics as far as the aircraft design is concerned, for example. And in this case, we're speaking about dozens and even hundreds of options to be considered. And perspective mathematics enables us to do so. And then there is a second area, which is closer connected to the topic of our today's webinar.
Это направление заключается в том, что перечень вариантов и оценка с различных сторон их характеристик уже имеется, независимо от того, это реально существующие варианты или мысленные варианты, сгенерированные с помощью математики. Теперь стоит вопрос, а как же из этих... Да, пожалуйста.
And this second area in which perspective mathematics can be involved is as follows. We can have a range of different options to be selected from. We have the evaluation of their parameters, disregarding the fact whether or not these options are already existing or they are just simulated.
Вот здесь и возникают основные проблемы, которые мы наблюдаем в мире. Споры людей, которые по различным соображениям, может быть, не связанным напрямую с интересами человечества в целом, или даже с интересами данной конкретной фирмы, или руководством данной страны или отрасли. Множество людей, которые имеют свои дополнительные интересы и заинтересованы в том, чтобы в качестве наилучшего варианта был выбран именно тот, который является лучшим для них. Спрашивается, как в этом случае поступать тому, кто уполномочен принимать решения, руководству страны или отрасли и так далее. Вот здесь оно должно использовать метод комплексной оценки эффективности вариантов. Как раз то, о чем я говорил. И тот метод, который я затронул в своем докладе, вот тот, который основан на отнесении группам важности, вот этот метод наиболее удобен. Почему? Пожалуйста, вот эту часть.
And in replying to
Mr. Konstantin, enough for the question?
мы, к сожалению, у нас исчерпано время на вопросы сейчас.
Я уже в основном на вопросы.
We go to the next session for the question for another speaker.
Потому что у нас начинается следующая сессия вопросов для другого спикера. Спасибо большое.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, for nice answer. Next question from Tiara Serlita Sari from Kadin University student from the concept of green building and how important the green building concept for the building itself.
From Ms. Tiara. Okay, there is a green building concept in Indonesia. There is a application about the sixth component, compulsory component for building certification as part green building in Indonesia.
Можем
Green building
выходить. Да. Все. Ну, Константин, большое спасибо. На мой взгляд... Вот, да. Мгм.
The question from Tiara to Mr. Sony.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I continue?
Okay,
My
yeah.
answer? Okay.
Continue.
I will talk clearly about the green building concept in Indonesia. Have prepared a six compulsory component for building certification as part of green building, and the Green Building Council in Indonesia, non-profit organization located in Toronto, Canada. So GPCI Indonesia to have certificate organization in Toronto, Canada. The goal of GPCI to address concern regarding to contribution of emission from high-rise building. About the six component like 30% green open space, and then indoor quality related air quality from the availability of ventilation, energy efficiency, water of efficiency, building management, and finally material cycle. And another component that is no less important is the documenting our building material. Okay, Ms. Vita.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Next question. No, next question. Yeah. Okay, one question from Puloli. Is the engineering faculty lecturer. The question for Madam Maha. Madam, the question is, can you tell me about the concept of building in Morocco? Is it quite different with Indonesia? Perhaps you can explain the difference between Morocco and Indonesian building concept.
The concept building in Morocco is like the French building. We build with concrete, but we also use local materials.
Oh yeah.
For example, in the south of Morocco, we use local materials, and we try to promote green architecture by using local buildings materials or local laborers from the region, which limits the pollution effects of transportation.
Transportation, yeah. Oh. And next question, Madam Maha, what is the city planner in Morocco? Is it quite different with another city?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, sorry. We change the question. About the mosque. The mosque in Morocco is the main project to for Morocco, yeah. About building the mosque is the main project in Morocco. What is the? Can you give me the story, short story about the green building in Morocco? Green building.
Yes, there is a project in Morocco. It starts in 2006. It's about converting mosques into green buildings. It starts with 6,000 mosques, and now Morocco has most of the mosques that are green buildings, which means it uses clean energy and hot water, such as efficient LED lighting, photovoltaic electricity, and solar water heating.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions from the audience?
Mrs. Vera, there is a very interesting question in the YouTube channel.
Okay. Yeah, you can answer directly.
Yes,
Madam Maha. Okay.
The question is from Mr. or Mrs. Jet Miko.
Oh, Jet Miko, yeah. Okay.
Is it time to change the civilization development strategy globally and focus on sustainable socio-economic development? Yeah, this is a very good question, an interesting question. I think due to the COVID-19, people are in crisis, and this period of time we should emergently adopt unemployment growth and special measures focused on social economical development. I think it's important because it's about to improve the well-being of every individual in society so they can reach their full potential. The success of society is linked to the well-being of each and every citizen. So social and socio-economical development means investing in people. And when you invest in people, their families will also do well, and the whole of society will benefit. So yeah, it's very important to focus on socio-economic development, especially in this crisis period.
Enough, okay. Thank you for the answer, Madam Maha. Is there any more question from the audience? Okay, I think enough for the question. Yeah, well, because ladies and gentlemen, we finally come to the end of the part of the seminar. Before I close the seminar, I would like to take the conclusion from the speaker that actually every country, every city has different building, and there's into green building in Morocco. It's quite different with in Indonesia and also in Russia. Okay, before we close the seminar, I would like to invite the all participants of today's seminar to take picture together. So please turn on your camera. We will take a picture together. Okay. Okay, the committee, please. I will count. Where is Mr. Professor Somdi? There's no here. Okay. Please. I will count. Start from now. Please take the picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, thank you. We come to the end of the seminar. I end of our team of the international seminar today. Apologize for the shortcoming and mistake. Thank you very much for nice presentation from Madam Maha Faudi, and then also Professor Dr. Samyong from Russia, and also Mr. Soni Susanto from Kadiri University. Hopefully this will be beneficial for everybody, and hopefully we can see again in another seminar held by Kadiri University. Thank you very much for joining the seminar. Have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vita.
Kadiri University is a private university located in Kediri, East Java, Indonesia. It is located in the west of Kediri, near with Stella Mangleng Cave and Airlangga Museum. The location is also near with Mas Kumambang Hills, makes the Kadiri University be a comfortable place for studying and learning. Kadiri University has big contribution of Kediri development. It's said by Sudanjo Supriyadi Wali Songo Kediri Foundation since 1980. Kadiri University has passed many bachelor to fulfill the society needs in Kediri especially and in Indonesia commonly. The graduates of Kadiri University have gotten a job in many cities and countries all over the world. Creating the competent, superior, characterless to be able to compete internationally in 2026 is the vision of Kadiri University. It is also supported by all faculties in Kadiri University. Kadiri University has academic, profession, and vocational education, namely Law Faculty, Social and Politics Faculty, Agriculture Faculty, Economics Faculty, Engineering Faculty, Health Science Faculty. Using student-centered learning, Kadiri University is supported by the good quality of lecturer to get a good cognitive, effective, and psychomotoric graduation to be able to compete in globalization era. Kadiri University has academic and non-academic facilities such as library, computer center, language center, ASEAN Studies Center, sports stadium, infestation gallery, mini hospital, and job placement center to make the student easier to get the job.
Mari bergabung bersama kami di Universitas Kadiri.
Kadiri University is a private university located in Kediri, East Java, Indonesia. It is located in the west of Kediri, near with Selamanglang Cave and Airlangga Museum. The location is also near with Mas Kumambang Hills, makes the Kadiri University be a comfortable place for studying and learning. Kadiri University has big contribution of Kediri development. It's said by Sudanjo Supriyadi Wali Songo Kediri Foundation since 1980. Kadiri University has passed many bachelor to fulfill the society needs in Kediri especially and in Indonesia commonly. The graduates of Kadiri University have gotten a job in many cities and countries all over the world. Creating the competent, superior, characterless to be able to compete internationally in 2026 is the vision of Kadiri University. It is also supported by all faculties in Kadiri University. Kadiri University has academic, profession, and vocational education, namely Law Faculty, Social and Politics Faculty, Agriculture Faculty, Economics Faculty, Engineering Faculty, Health Science Faculty. Using student-centered learning, Kadiri University is supported by the good quality of lecturer to get a good cognitive, effective, and psychomotoric graduation to be able to compete in globalization era. Kadiri University has academic and non-academic facilities such as library, computer center, language center, ASEAN Studies Center, sports stadium, investigation gallery, mini hospital, and job placement center to make the student easier to get the job.
Mari bergabung bersama kami di Universitas Kadiri.
Kadiri University is a private university located in Kediri, East Java, Indonesia. It is located in the west of Kediri, near with Selamanglang Cave and Airlangga Museum. The location is also near with Mas Kumambang Hills, makes the Kadiri University be a comfortable place for studying and learning. Kadiri University has big contribution of Kediri development. It's said by Sudanjo Supriyadi Wali Songo Kediri Foundation since 1980. Kadiri University has passed many bachelor to fulfill the society needs in Kediri especially and in Indonesia commonly. The graduates of Kadiri University have gotten a job in many cities and countries all over the world. Creating the competent, superior, characterless to be able to compete internationally in 2026 is the vision of Kadiri University. It is also supported by all faculties in Kadiri University. Kadiri University has academic, profession, and vocational education, namely Law Faculty, Social and Politics Faculty, Agriculture Faculty, Economics Faculty, Engineering Faculty, Health Science Faculty. Using student-centered learning, Kadiri University is supported by the good quality of lecturer to get a good cognitive, effective, and psychomotoric graduation to be able to compete in globalization era. Kadiri University has academic and non-academic facilities such as library, computer center, language center, ASEAN Studies Center, sports stadium, investigation gallery, mini hospital, and job placement center to make the student easier to get the job.
Mari bergabung bersama kami di Universitas Kadiri.